Welcome to Primeval Scope, where we unlock the ancient mysteries of our planet's history, traveling back to the majestic Jurassic period. Imagine a world where the ground shakes with every step, and the forests are dominated by creatures larger than any imagination. From the dense greenery emerges a titan, a creature that redefines the very concept of size and biological engineering on Earth. This is the Brachiosaurus, a colossal beast that stood as tall as a 5-story building, dominating the landscape with sheer presence. If the Tyrannosaurus Rex was the king of raw power, then the Brachiosaurus was undoubtedly the lord of the high skies. With a vertical reach approaching 13 meters, they were not just animals. They were walking natural wonders of the prehistoric world. Their unique posture, with front legs longer than the back, gave them a permanent uphill stance, perfect for reaching high branches.
Weighing as much as 60 tons, these giants moved with a slow, rhythmic grace that belied their immense and crushing weight. To put it in perspective, a single Brachiosaurus weighed as much as 10 full-grown African elephants combined. A truly staggering statistic. Their massive tails acted as counterbalances for their long necks, ensuring stability as they navigated the rugged terrain of the Jurassic. They shared their world with flying reptiles, standing like living mountains that even the creatures of the air had to navigate. How did they lift such heavy necks? Evolution provided them with hollow bones, filled with air sacs to drastically reduce weight. Even the young were born relatively small, quickly growing into giants under the watchful eyes and protective shadows of their parents. Standing beneath one would be like standing under a moving cathedral, a living structure of flesh and bone blocking the sun.
Their height gave them a strategic advantage, allowing them to spot predators from miles away, long before danger could approach them. Their calls likely rumbled at low frequencies, traveling vast distances to communicate with herd members scattered across the dense primeval forests. Every wrinkle on their gray skin told a story of survival in a harsh world filled with dangerous predators and challenges. As the sun climbed higher, these cold-blooded titans needed to regulate their temperature, moving slowly towards the shade of ancient trees. They were not mindless destroyers. They interacted with their environment carefully, selecting the best trees that could withstand their massive feeding. In this diverse ecosystem, they were the undisputed pillars, supporting a web of life that thrived in their enormous shadows. Solitary or in herds, their presence commanded respect, a testament to the evolutionary success of the sauropod lineage in history.
But fueling such a massive body required an incredible amount of energy,
leading us to their most important daily activity: eating. Let us look closer at their feeding mechanism. Their teeth were shaped like spoons, designed specifically for stripping, not chewing. They acted as nature's most efficient harvesters, stripping branches clean in seconds with a simple clamp and pull motion of the head. Unlike modern cows or horses, they did not chew their food. They swallowed vegetation whole, sending it down a long esophagus. To digest this tough plant matter, they employed a brilliant biological trick: swallowing smooth stones found by riverbanks, known as gastroliths. Inside their massive stomachs, these stones acted like a biological mill, grinding the tough leaves into a digestible paste for energy. To sustain a 60-ton body, a single Brachiosaurus had to consume up to 400 kilograms of vegetation every single day.
they were ecological heavyweights, capable of altering the landscape by stripping entire groves of trees bare in a matter of hours. They faced little competition for food because no other animal could reach the towering heights where the freshest leaves grew. This vertical advantage allowed them to access a private pantry in the sky, untouched by the smaller herbivores roaming below. Eating was a full-time job. They likely spent nearly every waking hour harvesting the energy needed to power their colossal bodies. Their diet consisted mainly of conifers, ginkgos, and cycads, tough plants that required their specialized digestive system to process effectively.
Despite their rigid appearance, their necks possessed a surprising range of motion, allowing them to graze vast areas without moving their feet. They were nomadic grazers, constantly on the move to find new feeding grounds, ensuring they never completely exhausted a single area.
The sound of a feeding herd would have been deafening, a constant cacophony of snapping branches and grinding stones echoing through the forest. Young ones had to settle for lower vegetation, slowly graduating to the high canopy as they grew into their magnificent adult stature. In a beautiful cycle of nature, their massive consumption led to massive fertilization, helping the very forests they ate to regenerate. As the day progressed, the metabolic heat generated by digestion helped keep them warm, turning them into living, fermentation-powered furnaces. Their unique nasal placement, high on the skull, may have helped in cooling their brains or resonating calls across the jungle. By clearing the high canopy, they allowed sunlight to reach the forest floor, stimulating new growth and supporting smaller plant life. But food was only half the equation. Now, the herd must embark on a journey across the open plains to find water. Crossing these open spaces exposed them to the elements, yet their sheer size was their greatest defense against any potential threats. Their feet were marvels of engineering, with soft pads underneath to cushion the impact of their 60-ton weight on the hard ground. Like living pillars, their legs were vertically aligned beneath their bodies, a structural necessity to support such immense mass without collapsing. Water is the essence of life, and for a creature this size, finding a reliable source was a matter of life and death. They arrive at a prehistoric oasis. The sight of dozens of long necks descending in unison is a ballet of giants. Drinking was a complex task. Lowering their heads meant dealing with extreme changes in blood pressure that would kill a human. To pump blood up a vertical neck of 9 meters requires a heart of titanic power and complex biological engineering.
Scientists estimate their heart weight over 400 kilograms, generating blood pressure 4 times higher than that of a healthy human being. Complex valves in their neck arteries prevented blood from rushing to their brains when they lowered their heads to drink. This sophisticated vascular system allowed them to transition from grazing high trees to drinking low water without passing out. The water served a dual purpose: hydration and cooling. The lake acted as a massive heat sink for their overheated bodies. Beneath the surface, their legs supported them like bridge pylons, while aquatic creatures darted between the living monuments of flesh. Even the apex predators of the water kept their distance. A single kick from a Brachiosaurus could be fatal instantly. Refreshed and cooled, the herd begins to move again. Their life was a perpetual journey, driven by the needs of their biology.
As the sun begins to dip below the horizon, the shadows of these giants stretch across the land, painting a moving picture. Social bonds were crucial. A straggler was a target, so communication and herd cohesion were vital for the survival of the young. These interactions suggest a level of social intelligence and care that contradicts the old image of dinosaurs as cold, unfeeling monsters. Safety in numbers was their primary defense strategy. By staying close, they created an impenetrable wall of muscle and bone. To a predator looking on from the shadows, this herd was not a collection of prey, but a fortress that could not be breached. Night falls on the Jurassic world. Under the silver glow of the moon, the Titans prepare for a period of rest. They likely slept standing up, locking their legs into position to conserve energy or remaining ready to move at a moment's notice. The rhythmic breathing of the herd created a low hum, a lullaby of giants echoing softly through the prehistoric darkness. Small nocturnal predators scurried in the shadows, mere ants compared to the sleeping mountains that towered above them. Even in sleep, they were aware. Millions of years of evolution had honed their instincts to detect the slightest vibration of danger. Amidst a volatile, prehistoric world, Brachiosaurus chose a pace of life that was slow, steady, and remarkably peaceful. They remind us that the greatest strength is not always found in aggression, but in stability, resilience, and quiet endurance. For millions of years, they reigned supreme, but the world is ever-changing, and no dynasty, however great, lasts forever. The late Jurassic gave way to the Cretaceous. Climates shifted, vegetation changed, and the golden age of these titans began to fade. As their environment transformed, the colossal food sources they relied on became scarce, challenging their specialized survival strategy. When they fell, the earth embraced them. Layer upon layer of sediment buried their bones, preserving their story for a distant future. The final curtain call came from the stars, a cataclysmic event that wiped out the non-avian dinosaurs, leaving only silence. Millions of years passed in silence. The lush jungles turned to stone, and the giants became myths hidden deep within the rock. Until one day, humanity stumbled upon their remains. We found bones so large they seemed to belong to creatures of legend. It took heavy machinery just to lift a single neck vertebra, giving us our first real glimpse into the scale of the Brachiosaurus. Today, they stand tall again in museums around the world, casting their long shadows over awe-struck visitors of all generations. They ignite the imagination of children and adults alike, serving as a bridge connecting us to a lost world of wonder. Through science and technology, we can look past the stone and visualize the living, breathing animal that once walked our Earth. Imagine if they walked among us today. Their heads would peer into fifth-floor office windows, observing our modern lives with ancient eyes. But they belong to the past, a glorious chapter in Earth's history, when nature pushed biological limits to their absolute extremes. The Brachiosaurus was more than just a big lizard. It was a masterpiece of evolution, perfectly adapted to its environment. Their existence proves that life finds a way to conquer every niche, from the microscopic to the monumental scale of the sauropods. They endured storms, droughts, and predators, surviving for millions of years before yielding to the inevitable flow of time. Their legacy is not one of failure, but of incredible success. They were the undisputed rulers of the Jurassic landscape. As we pull back and look at the grand tapestry of life, the Brachiosaurus stands out as one of its boldest patterns. The mountains they resembled are still here, but the living mountains of flesh and blood have long since returned to the dust. While we may never see them walk again, the study of their fossils continues to teach us new things every day. Modern technology allows us to model their movement, estimate their weight, and even guess the sounds that once shook the earth. We are constantly refining our image of them. Perhaps they were colorful, or had distinct patterns we have yet to discover. Looking into the eyes of this recreation, we feel a connection, a humble realization of our own small place in history. While the sauropods are gone, the dinosaur lineage lives on in the birds that fly through our skies today. But there will never be another creature quite like the Brachiosaurus, a unique convergence of biology and physics. As the sun sets on our journey through the Jurassic, we are left with a sense of profound awe and respect. They were the great leaf-eating machines, the gentle giants, the architects of the prehistoric forests that sustained them. Their footprints have hardened into rock, leaving an indelible mark on the geological record for us to find and decipher. From the canopy to the lake, from the morning mist to the starry night, we have witnessed their incredible life cycle. They walked a different Earth, a supercontinent teeming with life forms that pushed the boundaries of what is biologically possible. The forest is quiet now. The ground no longer shakes. But if you listen closely to the wind, you might hear them. The echoes of the Brachiosaurus still resonate through time, reminding us of the magnificent diversity our planet once harbored. We are but a blink in the eye of history compared to the millions of years these titans walked the Earth.